I supposed to hack him or something? What? I know, that shit was weird. He's looking at me like, bro, what's wrong with you? Exactly, dude. What the f is wrong with this game, bruh? There I go, entering the Speed Force again. What's going on, beautiful people? The Black Hokage here, aka TVH, and to be honest, I'm here for that Cyberpunk 2077 review. I know a lot of you were waiting on it, one of the biggest games of the year. Before we talk about it, a friendly reminder that I am giving away a free Xbox Series X. Yes. If you want to get your hands on one of the rare new next-gen consoles, 4K capable from Microsoft, and you can play Forza in 4K. Click that link in the description box below. Pause the video. It doesn't take but a minute to sign up, and you can win a free Xbox Series X. Now, with that out of the way, just know I did a review of Cyberpunk 2077 on my latest Hokage Thoughts podcast. We talked about a whole bunch of other things too, like WandaVision, and we talked a whole bunch about life and Clubhouse and stuff like that. So if you want to check out the full podcast, there will be a link in the description box below. But here's my review of Cyberpunk 2077. So let's talk about it. No spoilers, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna spoil anything. We just mainly talking about the game, the mechanics, and all the other things like that. So I wrote down a bunch of positive and negatives for Cyberpunk 2077 to let you know, was it worth the wait? And the answer is no. All right, so first positive. Let me see how many I got. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 positives and a whole bunch of negatives. Anyways, so the first positive, the world of Cyberpunk is gorgeous. Night City, or whatever the fuck it's called, is gorgeous. There's a lot of vibrant colors everywhere. The lighting is done really well in this game. The way that the reflections and the lighting comes up off the buildings, the scale of the city. When you first walk into the city, the density of all the people there, and then the buildings, there's a real sense of scale, and you really get to feel that when you unlock on the skill tree. There's ability to get the double jump. When you get the double jump in the game, it completely. I was not having a lot of fun with this game, I'm not gonna lie. When I unlocked the double jump, it completely changed the game, and you actually got to feel the scale of the city, and you were able to attack missions at a different angle. So the world is gorgeous, a lot of interesting characters, people are having dialogue everywhere, there's shootouts on the street, there's things, police are doing things. It felt like the city was alive for the most part until you got towards like more of the edges of the city. Then it was just kind of people. That was only like in the heart of the city. Then when you got more towards outside of the city, like in the hood and shit, and like where the nomads live, it was just people walking around. It wasn't really anything going on. But for the most part, I think the world is actually really dope with Cyberpunk 2077. That's probably one of my favorite things about the game. They really crafted a world that engaged you for the most part. First negative, and we're just gonna get this out the way, the obvious, bugs and glitches. Although this world is gorgeous and great to look at, the bugs and glitches in this game, it breaks the immersion. If you watched my Cyberpunk 2077 uninstall video, I even said it in the video, I streamed my entire playthrough, and I think I got like 40 hours or something like that on the game. And my entire playthrough, I streamed it, and there was not a single stream where I did not encounter any glitches. And it wasn't like 1 or 2 glitches. I'm talking about like, I was running into glitches every few minutes. Wild shit. Like one of the most common ones is that my character would enter the Speed Force, where the game would just propel you forward, and like it would just throw you all the way. It would throw you across the map. There was time where like I was driving and cars were flying out. They dropped out of the sky and almost blew me up, and that shit pissed me off too, because I was in the middle of a racing mission, and some cars flew out of the sky and dropped down and almost bombed me to death. There's all types of like head and like character glitches, clipping, my scope disappeared, freaking NPCs not responding, not walking and being where they need to be. Like it was really bad, and it's hard. It's really ironic that they built this game that's supposed to be around immersion, and there's nothing but bugs and glitches galore. This is easily one of the buggiest games that I ever played. And the only reason I didn't uninstall it is because none of it was game breaking. It was all like goofy, stupid shit. But if it would have been something like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where I got stuck in a death loop, I would have uninstalled it earlier. I uninstalled this game because it was fucking boring. I beat the game. I beat the final boss. I got to the ending, and apparently I literally had like 2 minutes left in my ending, but I turned it off. It was so fucking, I got the bad ending. There's 7 endings in the game, and apparently I got the worst one, and that shit was just bored me. I was like, it was so disappointing to waste so much of my time to get that ending, and I wasn't even talking about that negative. But yeah, bugs and glitches, they are real. There's supposed to be a big patch coming out in a few days, and they're going to keep patching it all throughout the year. So in my opinion, if you want to play this game, probably wait a few months, because in its current state, it is bad. Like, enemies don't respond. You get the point. Next positive. This is a man's game, like a man's game. No, that's not the way. No, this is a gamer's game. That's what I meant to say. Kind of like how people say, that's a man's man right there. This is a gamer's game. This is not for the faint of heart. This game has a large skill tree. There are multiple different skills. There's like, there's your strength, your reflexes, your intelligence, like your hacking, your stealth abilities, and something else. And then inside of each of those where you can allocate skill points, there's like 3 different skill trees within those. So there's like fucking 100 different skill trees. There's so many different ways, which by the way, there's gonna be a ton of shit on the map. So it's plenty of skill points to unlock. So if you're a type of person who really loves to customize a character, I'm not gonna lie, you be damned to find a game that's deeper than Cyberpunk 2077 in terms of skill trees. There's a tons of customization here and you can really make a character how you see fit. The only thing I didn't like about the skill tree is like, this game is an open world RPG, and you can steal cars, but you have to have like a high level strength to steal cars. It's not like Grand Theft Auto. Once you get to the main world, you can't just steal cars. You got to make sure you have an 8 on your strength, and that shit's annoying because you start with like a 3. So make sure to put skill points on your strength. The next negative, the menu system. The UI is ass. Oh my God. It is convoluted. They could have spent more. I like a simple menu, man. One of my favorite menus ever was the Xbox 360 blades, right? The original Xbox 360 blades, where you just slide it to the side. Like that's what I like. I like a simple menu that gets me from point A to B. That's why I like the PS5's UI. The UI in this game, it's just cluttered and there's shit everywhere. Then you got to answer the phone. You got to answer text messages and shit too. Like the crafting and all that shit is all over the place. The best way I can equate the UI in this game is it's like one of those shitty open world survival games on Steam. It's like a big ass grid and like you got to click and drag shit and fucking craft this and move that, and you got to find this menu which is hidden in this menu, and this menu only unlocks when you speak to this character. Like it's too much, man. Game developers, clean that shit up. I didn't really like the UI like that. My next positive is the gunplay. I started off trying to do a stealth gameplay because I'm a big stealth dude, but I didn't enjoy the stealth in this game. I guess that could be a negative. I didn't write that down, but I didn't enjoy the stealth in this game. It's kind of ass. So I decided to just go guns blazing, and I did more of a sniper assault rifle playthrough. I would do like a little hacking here and there, like I would be stealthy until I got caught, basically. But the gunplay is the positive for me. Like it's pretty. I would say it's serviceable. It's not the greatest gunplay I've ever seen, but it's serviceable. I did actually really enjoy sniping in this game. That was my favorite part. If you actually watch my playthrough, I played like Call of Duty. I did a lot of double jumping and fucking jumping to the side and then fucking no scoping and quick scoping people. So I think the gunplay is very serviceable in this game. It doesn't start out very good, but as your character starts to get better, the game will start to get more fun. This is one of the games where like the gameplay got more fun the more I played it, because I almost quit it early on. And that's because what's cool about it is the more you do something, the better your character gets at it. So if you run a lot, your character will get better at running. You see what I'm saying? If you shoot a lot, your character, it just naturally happens, like the level up on top of the skill points with the skill tree. And that goes back to what I said when I said this is a gamer's game. This game is not for the faint of heart. If you don't pay attention and you don't like to do any of that shit, it ain't gonna be for you. The next negative I have is, honestly, this is a hardcore RPG, but I did not find most of the characters in this game interesting at all. I found the main character storyline interesting. Jackie was cool until, you know, and then fat ass Rick Ross at the beginning, he was cool until, you know, freaking I did like Johnny Silverhand. That's Keanu Reeves' character. He was cool. And then Pan Am was cool. But after that, like, you meet so many different people. I did not give a fuck about most of the characters in this game. And the game just lost my attention because of it. And it sucks too, because this game is very dialogue heavy. And not only is it dialogue heavy, unfortunately, this is one of those games, I didn't put it in the negatives, but now I'm remembering. Unfortunately, this is one of those games that gives you the illusion of choice. Like, there'll be like 4 different dialogue options when you talk, but none of them matter except for the first one. The first one is always what moves the storyline forward. The other ones, they just be talking, and you don't get, I don't want to say never, because sometimes you do, but for the most part, from what I saw, it doesn't give any extra context or lore or any hints in what you need to do in the mission. So I found myself just picking the first dialogue option every time. There's an illusion of choice there, and I didn't really like that, which makes it worse because the characters are not interesting with all the damn talking. So yeah, that was one of my negatives. I didn't give a fuck about any of the characters. I like the world, but the characters, nah. Next positive, you can play this game the way you want to. You can play it stealthy, you can play it action, you can hack people and make them blow up and all this other shit, or you can just run in and shoot. You can take the high ground, and defeat Anakin as Obi-Wan. Or you can sneak through the door. Like, there's so many different ways that you can tackle the game, and I always love a game that gives you a choice. There's an illusion of choice when it comes to speaking to characters, but there's no illusion of choice when it comes to actually playing the game. And I think that's the best part about the game, is the actual gameplay, even though it's not that great in my opinion. If I had to describe it, Cyberpunk 2077 is Fallout meets Deus Ex. It's those two who had a baby, but in my opinion, this game is not as good as neither. I enjoyed Fallout way more than this game. I enjoyed Deus Ex way more than this game, but it feels like a combination of those two games if I had to compare it to something. Next negative is there's too much pointless shit on the fucking map, dude. When you get, first of all, the prologue in the game is 4 to 6 hours depending on how many side missions you do in the prologue. It took me 4 hours to do it. I just ran through it, and even still, it felt too long. And then you get to the thing where it says, welcome to Cyberpunk, and the city opens up. And then you open the map up when you get to the main city, and you see everything on that map. It looked like a game developer just threw up on it. It's so dense with shit to do. And the worst part is, I hate this about games. I'm driving to a mission, and 5 more missions pop up on my map. Oh, it looks like you found a new mission. Just leave me alone, dude. It's too much. And Assassin's Creed Valhalla is guilty of this shit too. It's just too much, man. I feel like so many gamers have complained that games don't have enough content, that now game developers are leaning, they went from not putting enough content in to now they're leaning towards fucking just doing too much. And it's like, for me, a good 8 to 30 hour game is enough. I don't need my game to be 100 million hours. And this game doesn't have to be 100 million hours. From my understanding, the main story is only like 20 hours. Like I said, I put 40 in. I did a few side missions, and then after that, I was like, fuck it. It's just too much shit on this map. This is one of those games where I say it's as long as you want it to be, but I will say you want to play the side missions, because that's one of my positives. That's my last positive, actually. The side missions, in my opinion, were actually more interesting than the main storyline. The side missions, they consist of like singular insular stories where you get to know different characters in the world, and they have their own different problems, and you help them, and it helps you get better upgrades and money and shit like that. Almost akin to like Ghost of Tsushima. And I said that on stream. I was like, why am I enjoying the side missions more than I'm enjoying the main storyline? The main storyline is just some fake ass deep cybernetic net running bullshit. Like, I didn't give a fuck about that shit. But the side missions, I enjoyed them. The main side missions, will I say, because there's like several. There's story driven side missions, and you'll know what I'm talking about. I forgot what they were called, but you'll know what I'm talking about. There's story driven side missions, and then there are side missions where it's like, go clear out this area for the police, go clear out this gang. Not those ones, not that busy work, that shit you see in Ubisoft games. But for the most part, the side missions were lit. What else I got? Negatives. Ooh, performance issues. I played on PC. If you guys want to know my PC rig, I got a 2080 in there, 32 gigs of RAM. I got a Ryzen 2700X. I got a pretty high-end PC. And I was having performance issues. I would say it ran good like 75% of the time. But I did get a lot of frame drops and stutters when the action would pick up, or when I was downtown and it was more dense. And this is after I turned the graphics down. I had all the shadows like on low or medium and shit. I only had like the textures on high. I didn't have ray tracing on or anything like that. Like, this game is poorly optimized. And I told y'all CD Projekt Red is not good at optimizing their games, and people didn't believe me, and now y'all mad. So yes, this game does have performance issues. Hopefully when they patch the game, it'll get better. But for now, in the current state in which I beat it, it wasn't running the best. You are going to run into stutters. And last but not least, I talked about the ending. I didn't really like my ending, although there's 7, so I'm not going to knock it too much. The one I got was really bad. I don't even know if this is fair to put this on there. It just didn't feel like this game was worth the wait. Whether you want to consider the game under development for 7 years or 4 years, 4 years, it still wasn't worth the wait. Like, most games like 2-3 years and they come out great. This shit was just like, I'm gonna be honest, it's very rare that I give should I give a score? I don't want to give a score, man. I don't be giving scores, because, you know, when you give a game a score, people be they be focusing on that shit too much. The best thing I can say is, like, this game is not absolutely garbage. It's not trash, but it's not going to be for everybody, and it is unoptimized. And there's no way in my my sane black ass mind that I could recommend this game at $60. I don't think this game is worth $60. I think it's cool if you're into hardcore RPGs. I would say wait and pick it up when the price drops, when it's like $30. I wouldn't even get, like, let's say they come out with the patch tomorrow. Do not buy this shit for $60 based off the principle, bro. Wait till this shit is like $30, $40, then maybe pick it up if you're into hardcore RPGs. But if I would have finished this game in 2020, would have this been one of my top games? This shit wouldn't even have been in my top 5. I'm gonna be honest. maybe at the bottom of the 10 if I do a 10. I'm thinking about doing a top 10 video. I gotta figure out what would be on my list. But if Cyberpunk makes the list, it'd be at the fucking bottom. Like, this is not a game of the year contender to me. It's bootleg ass Deus Ex. Deus Ex Mankind Divided was better than this game. Yeah, I'm saying it. Now what?